Today's headlines. Authorities identify 36 of 37 bodies recovered in the NCCC Mall fire in Davao City. The National Capital Region Police Office prepares measures to prevent firecracker injuries this new year. Members of the New People's Army harassed military personnel during its unilateral ceasefire on December 25. And Polycarp Street in Mandaluyong takes center stage as houses light up their Christmas displays. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Authorities updated the list of victims in the fire at the NCCC Mall in Davao City, as 36 of the 37 charred bodies recovered there have already been identified. In the Davao City government's official list, they named the 36 positively identified victims through their relatives and friends and from the possessions recovered with the bodies. Melvin Gaa was not included in the list of missing persons, but his body was positively identified by his family and friends. Gaa was an employee of the NCCC Mall and was not a call center agent of the SSI like the others. The foreign-sounding name in the initial list, Hongi Jiangjian, was meanwhile taken away from the official list as authorities suspect the earlier information was either an error or a prank. On Tuesday afternoon, Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio visited the wake of some of the victims and condoled with the grieving families. She also assured them of support. 2 more persons are listed as missing as of Wednesday morning. The Department of Justice is preparing the formal petition which will officially declare as terrorist groups the Communist Party of the Philippines and its armed wing, the New People's Army. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II ordered the Office of the Prosecutor General to file the necessary petition this week before the Regional Trial Court. He noted that as part of the preparations, prosecutors have to seek the help of the intelligence community. Aguirre is optimistic that the lower court would grant the government's request following President Rodrigo Duterte's proclamation naming the CPP-NPA and its affiliates as terror organizations. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque earlier announced that President Rodrigo Duterte signed the proclamation pursuant to the provisions of the Human Security Act. The proclamation was issued following the termination of peace talks due to the series of violent attacks committed by the CPP-NPA. The National Capital Region Police Office announced that it is now coordinating with local government units and national government agencies to address concerns on fireworks use, including prevention of injuries. NCRPO Director Oscar Albayalde called on the public to celebrate New Year's Day peacefully. He instructed police personnel to coordinate with partner government units regarding designated area for fireworks. Albayalde also vowed to intensify security to ensure a peaceful celebration as 2018 ushers in, which includes preventing cases of indiscriminate firing. Albayalde also encouraged the public to call for police assistance whenever needed and reiterated the use of government emergency hotline 911. The Department of Health reported 2 additional cases of firecracker injuries leading to amputation. A 12-year-old boy from Talisay Negros Occidental and a 62-year-old man from Quezon City lost part of their fingers while lighting a whistle bomb. This leads to a current total of 29 injuries. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations is set to conclude and submit for adoption an enabling master plan to push further the rights of persons with disabilities or PWDs in 2018. A joint initiative led by the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, or AICHR, continued with the convening of the 4th meeting of the Task Force on the Mainstreaming of the Rights of PWDs. The task force adopted a structure for the draft regional action plan that will put forward goals on disability rights for each community pillar of ASEAN in line with its ASEAN Vision 2025. The task force emphasized on goal setting, aspiration, and shared efforts by all pillars of ASEAN towards an inclusive community by 2025. The next meeting of the task force is scheduled in January 2018. Based on the 2015 UN ESCAP Disability Survey, persons with disabilities are consistently less likely to be employed than persons without disabilities. In the Philippines alone, there are more than 1.4 million PWDs registered last 2015. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says Japan stands ready to provide assistance to the Philippine government over casualties and damages caused by Typhoon Binta last week. Abe extended his heartfelt condolences to the victims and their families on behalf of the Japanese government. The Japanese leader said they are in solidarity with the Filipinos as a nation who fully understand the hardship caused by severe damage of typhoons. The United States, Australia, Canada, the United Nations, and the European Union already extended sympathies to the victims. UN and the EU also expressed readiness to support in humanitarian needs. Abe also conveyed condolences to the families of the deceased on the fire incident at the NCCC Mall in Davao City. 38 casualties were reported, with 36 already identified. The Department of Trade and Industry wants to fast-track the creation of an executive order to support the supply side of the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez said a new EO is needed to support local body makers of modern PUVs. This is aside from the DTI's plan to reallocate some 9 billion pesos for the third player under the 27 billion peso Comprehensive Automotive Resurgence Strategy Program. He said the EO will help locally manufactured vehicles to compete with the price of imported ones. He added that jeepney operators can get orders from local manufacturers or opt to buy completely built-up modern PUVs while waiting for DTI support program. DTI Assistant Secretary Rafaelita Aldaba, meanwhile, said it is best to source modern PUVs locally as parts and service centers are already available. The replacement of old PUVs may already start as President Rodrigo Duterte targets to kick off the program in January 2018. Still to come, General Manager Alexander Balutan agrees to face investigation over the alleged extravagant Christmas party of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Members of the New People's Army harassed military personnel during its unilateral ceasefire on December 25. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Bakit nga ba tayo nasadlak sa dusa? Sa simula ng panunungkulan ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ay ipinangako niya na muli niyang ibabalik at pasisiglahin ang mga nawalang katangian ng isang pamahalang mapagkalinga tungo sa mas maunlad na Pilipinas. Taglay ang pangakong ito, isinilang ang programang Biyaya ng Pagbabago. Ano ang maitutulong ng programang ito sa mga Pilipinong matagal nang hinagupit ng mga katiwalian? Layunin ng biyaya ng pagbabago na mapababa ang antas ng kahirapan sa ating bansa at maiangat ang kalagayan ng pamumuhay ng ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na ang mga naghihikahos at kapuspalan. Katuwang nito ang aktibong partisipasyon ng mga mamamayan at ang mga komunidad ay may kakayahan na lumahok para sa kanilang panloob na pag-unlad. Ang buong sektor ng gobyerno ay sistematikong kikilos at tututok sa mga estratehiyang gagamitin sa paglaban sa kahirapan. Ang mga sumusunod ang mga hakbang ng mga ahensya sa ilalim ng Duterte administration na magkakaloob ng tiyak na biyaya ng pagbabago. Ang Philippine Coconut Authority ay magkakaloob ng 3 programa: Accelerated Coconut Planting and Replanting Project, ang Kaanib Enterprise Development Project. Itataguyod nito ang sistema ng pagtatanim ng niyog bilang isang negosyo sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang proyektong pangkabuhayan. Coconut Hub Project. Ang Cooperative Development Authority ay may mga programang magtataguyod at makatutulong sa mga kooperatiba. Ang DA-CDA Partnership Program, ang DAR-CDA Partnership 2 Sustainable Business Operations Program for Agrarian Reform Cooperatives. Ang Co-op-Seed. Hinihikayat ng CDA Bamata Tribal Council Partnership Adopt an Indigenous People's Family Program ang mga kooperatiba na tulungan ang mga pamilya mula sa mga tribo ng Banwaon, Manobo at Talaandig upang maipagpatuloy ang kanilang mga pamana, ancestral domain at matutong mga lakal. Lumilikha ng mga mekanismo at mga serbisyong sumusuporta sa pagbuo ng value chain development to cooperatives ang CDA Value Chain Program. Target ng Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council na matugunan ang pabahay ng mga Filipino, kaya itinatag ang Balay Program o Building Adequate, Livable, Affordable, Inclusive Filipino Communities. Ang Home Guarantee Corporation ay may 4 na programa. Guarantee Program for Microfinance and Small Loans for Home Development. Guarantee Program for Expanded Socialized Housing. Restructuring Program for Home Buyers of HGC Acquired Assets, Beneficial Land Use o BLU Scheme. Ang National Housing Authority ay may mga programa katulad ng Housing Program for Informal Settler Families Living Along Danger Areas in Metro Manila, ang Regional Resettlement Program, ang Housing Assistance for Calamity Victims. Pabahay rin ang hatid ng National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation sa pamamagitan ng Socialized Housing Load Takeout of Receivables o ang Shelter Program, Housing Load Moratorium, Penalty Condonation Program.
Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office General Manager Alexander Balutan said he is open to an investigation on the millions of pesos allegedly spent by the agency for its Christmas party. Balutan said the PCSO is ready to account for its expenditures during the Christmas party. He claimed that the PCSO spent 3 million pesos for the hotel, food, and giveaway prizes and not 10 million as alleged. Balutan also said he is ready to show that there was no overspending or irregularity. Meanwhile, retired Marine Major Manuel Fraginal, PCSO Executive Assistant, blasted newly appointed Director Sandra Cam for making accusations that has demoralized the rank and file of the PCSO. Cam exposed the alleged overspending of the PCSO for its Christmas party. He said PCSO employees even donated 2,000 pesos each from their bonus to the victims of the Marawi siege. He said all expenses of the PCSO are properly recorded and all projects are approved through board resolutions. The APEC Business Council has called for a stronger public-private partnership as it lauded the projects and achievements of the Duterte administration. Here is our report.
The APEC Business Advisory Council, or ABAC, has welcomed the achievements of the Duterte administration. ABAC said it noted the government's projects to address the country's transport and logistic problems. The business organization pushes for broader stakeholder engagement, bolder reform measures, and better public-private sector coordination that will reinforce the Build, Build, Build program of the Duterte administration. ABAC also welcomed the openness of the government to more players, especially in the telecommunications industry. It commended the Philippine Competition Commission in ensuring that competition stays in the market. ABAC also acknowledged the passage of the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion or TRAIN and the 2018 General Appropriations Act. ABAC Philippines member and Tycoon Lance Gokongwei said the next step is to pull together and support the government's measure. ABAC Philippines Chairman Tomas Alcantara meanwhile stressed the need for active participation of the private sector in the reform agenda of the government. But it mentioned that the government should hasten its work on ease of doing business in the country. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
The military in Davao Oriental denounced the New People's Army after its members violated its unilateral ceasefire for the holidays. The 10th Infantry Division reported that a soldier assigned at the Tubuan Patrol Base was chased and nearly captured by about 30 fully armed rebels. The soldier, identified as Arbilito Katampao, managed to escape. Melale Patrol Base at Barangay Melale in Laak, Compostela Valley was also harassed by undetermined numbers of NPAs believed to be members of Guerrilla Front 34. No casualties from the government side are reported. The incidents happened on December 25 at 9:30 in the morning and at 7:30 in the evening, both within the unilateral ceasefire set from December 23 to 26. Major General Noel Clement said both incidents were clear violations of ceasefire made by the terrorist NPA. He had compared the attacks to the actions of criminals rather than rebels. Meanwhile, the 10th Infantry Division will remain vigilant against sneak attacks by the NPA throughout the ceasefire. About 290 members of the New People's Army from Compostela Valley surrendered to the 701st Infantry Brigade in Davao Oriental. East MINCOM Commander Lieutenant General Benjamin Madrigal personally welcomed the former rebels as they surrendered to the Philippine Army. The surrenderers expressed their regrets in joining the rebels, citing lack of food and other hazards in the jungle. They will be eligible to join the Happy Home program, where they will receive government benefits such as financial assistance, free education, and livelihood trainings. The mass surrender is the result of the community support program conducted by the Philippine Army 66th Infantry Battalion. Brigadier General Ruben Basiao assured the Army will continue to bridge the gap between the government and the people and help deliver its basic services and establish an environment that is peaceful and conflict resilient. The Philippine Army also urged other communist rebels to surrender to the government so they may return to their families and communities in peace. The Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board ordered the preventive suspension of a bus firm that figured in a Christmas Day road accident in Agoo, La Union. The 30-day suspension covered 7 bus units of Partas Transportation with routes covering Manila to Pagudpud, Ilocos Norte. The bus firm failed to comply with the directive to submit dashcam footages that could determine who is responsible for the accident. A private jeepney collided with a Partas bus at around 3:30 a.m. along the National Highway in Agoo, La Union. Police said the jeepney, which is heading to the minor Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary of Manaoag in Pangasinan, overtook another vehicle when it collided with the northbound bus. 20 out of the private jeepney's 29 passengers died, including the driver. On the other hand, the 15 bus passengers and conductor suffered minor injuries. Up next, power is restored in all villages in Biliran that were damaged weeks ago by Typhoon Urduha. Polycarp Street in Mandaluyong takes center stage as houses light up their Christmas displays. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Ang Pag-ibig Home Development Mutual Fund ay may 3 programa. Affordable Housing Loan Program, Short-Term Loan Program, Pag-ibig Loyalty Card. 3 rin ang programa ng Social Housing Finance Corporation, Community Mortgage Program, Localized Community Mortgage Program, High Density Housing Program. Ancestral Domain naman ang isa sa pangunahing programa ng National Commission on Indigenous People. Issuance of Certificates of Ancestral Domain Title, Certificates of Ancestral Land Titles, Formulation of Ancestral Domain Sustainable Development and Protection Plan. Ang National Food Authority naman ay may mga programa kagaya ng Grains Procurement, Rice Distribution, Food Guardian Advocacy. Marami ring programang nakalaan ang National Commission on Muslim Filipino para sa mga kapatid nating Muslim. Administration and support to cultural centers, madrasas, organizations, and Sharia education. Assistance to Muslim cooperatives and entrepreneurs. Support to the Philippine halal industry development. peace advocacy and conflict resolution assistance in Muslim Filipino communities, coordination for the development of Muslim Filipino communities and social services, administration services, coordination, supervision and administration of pilgrimage to Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ang National Irrigation Administration ay nagsusulong ng construction of irrigation facilities para sa mahigit 171,000 ektarya ng agricultural land sa bansa. Para sa mga kabataang Filipino ay may nakalatag na plano ang National Youth Commission, Government Internship Program, Youth Organizations Registration Program. Isinusulong naman ng Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor ang walang demolisyon kung walang relokasyon. Ang Philippine Commission on Women ay itinataguyod ang vow, the unspoken words gamit ang mga free verse poetry at images upang maunawaan ng publiko ang hirap na dinaranas ng mga vow victims survivors. Maraming programang isinasagawa ang Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, kabilang ang Training for Work Scholarship Program o TWSP, Private Education Student Financial Assistance, Special Training for Employment Program, Massive Scale Training Program sa Lanao del Norte. Nasa pagkakaisang lakas, ang lahat ng ito ay maisa sa katuparan kung ang pamahalaan at ang taong bayan ay matibay na kikilos ng magkatuwang. It takes two to tango. Mga kababayan, mga kapwa Pilipino, samahan natin ang ating gobyerno sa mga adhikain ng tunay na biyaya ng pagbabago.
The Biliran Electric Cooperative, or Bileco, has restored electricity in all 117 villages of Biliran Province battered by Typhoon Urduha more than a week ago. Bileco said power restoration was completed on the night of December 24. It said that restoration works were hampered by mobility as some roads have been closed due to landslides and damaged bridges. The sole power service provider in Biliran Province has over 34,000 household connections. The cooperative's initial report showed that more than 100 electric poles were toppled or sustained damage. The storm incurred damage cost of primary lines pegged at 11 million pesos. 2 fishermen died while 71 others were rescued from a wrecked vessel drifting at sea on Christmas Day near An Island in Tawi-Tawi. Rear Admiral Rene Medina, Naval Forces Western Mindanao commander, said the fishermen were rescued at around 9 a.m. Monday near Pamilican Island in Mapun, Tawi-Tawi. Medina said the fishermen were rescued after the Coast Guard station in Mapun received information that a fishing boat was battered by big waves spawned by Tropical Storm Vinta. Troops from the Marine Battalion Landing Team 8 assisted the rescued fishermen when they arrived at the port of Mapun Town. Most of the rescued fishermen are from Palawan, while others are from Navotas, Bulacan, Bataan, Malabon, Guimaras, Caloocan City, Cebu, Leyte, Davao, and Tawi-Tawi. The wrecked fishing boat is from Mangsi Island, Balabac, Palawan. The Sanman Promotions is staging its inaugural boxing presentation for 2018 on January 21, dubbed Brawl at the Mall, the 10th edition at the newly renovated Gaisano Mall Atrium in General Santos City. The main event will feature the unbeaten Jason Pitbull Mama of Barangay Bula, Jensan against Michael Chameleon of Malaybalay, Bukidnon for the vacant WBO Asia Pacific Flyweight title. Mama is an amateur standout who won gold medals in national competitions. He won 2 of his 3 victories this year by knockouts. Chameleon has also won his last 2 fights this year, but lost in his bid for the vacant WBA Pan-African Light Flyweight title last February 26. The event will also feature Japanese female boxer, model, and former Oriental and Pacific Boxing Federation bantamweight champion Tomoni Takano and undefeated American-Cuban Daniel Raspi Poceres of Miami, Florida. Polycarp Street in Mandaluyong is a popular Christmas attraction in Metro Manila. Several houses in the neighborhood have been well known for showcasing extravagant and awe-inspiring Christmas decorations. Here is our report.
Polycarp Street in Mandaluyong City seems like a very long road with a mix of old and new houses. The attraction, however, is found in the houses with facades lit up with spectacular Christmas lights. Norma Lim decorated her house with lines of LED as usual, but the zing comes from a huge garden-themed Belen or the Nativity with colorful bulbs in forms of stars on top of the next-door building, the Lim's office. Mrs. Lim said her decorating tradition started 23 years ago with a small Belen. A simple tradition for Mrs. Lim and the residents of Polycarp Street lit the fire, so to speak, in other communities to follow suit. From a pie server with the face of Santa to another Santa on a MacBook, the Suva residence in Polycarpio seems to have everything Santa. The house is easily recognizable with its life-size Santa Clauses on top of the terrace, but the biggest treat for any visitor is inside the house with its expansive collection of Santa, spanning countries and time periods. The house is such an uncommon spectacle, not only for Filipinos but even for the so-called Canadian Santa Claus, who was amazed by the huge number of little him. A sparkling gate filled with Christmas lights and paroles also take the limelight on Polycarpio Street. The splendid house is owned by the Dalisay family. The Dalisay started decorating with a few lights in 1993, and the display grew until it caught the media's attention in 1998. With these three houses of the Lims, the Suvas, and the Dalisays, it wouldn't be a surprise if one wouldn't want to stay and linger some more in the dazzling spectacle of Christmas lights and bright, colorful displays on the now famous Polycarpio Street. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. Authorities identify 36 of 37 bodies recovered in the NCCC Mall fire in Davao City. The National Capital Region Police Office prepares measures to prevent firecracker injuries this new year. Members of the New People's Army harass military personnel during its unilateral ceasefire on December 25. And Polycarpio Street in Mandaluyong takes center stage as houses light up their Christmas displays.
38 persons were officially listed as victims in the NCCC fire in Davao City, with one still missing and one body has yet to be identified. This was clarified by Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, who said the two unaccounted persons are Miko de Mafelis and Alexandra Moreno, both call center agents of Survey Sampling International or SSI. The Bureau of Fire Protection earlier reported having retrieved only 37 bodies. Dr. Danilo Ledesma of the City Health Office bared that the victims died of asphyxia due to suffocation. An interagency task force composed of the National Bureau of Investigation, the BFP, the Philippine National Police, and Scene of the Crime Operatives or SOCO has been formed to investigate the incident. Duterte Carpio said she asked the inclusion of the city government so that she will have access to information. The city government will be represented by the Central 911 for the response issues and the City Engineer's Office for building plans questions. Meanwhile, the NCCC Mall management confirmed the death of one of its employees who was also one of the first responders in the fire. The management identified the fatality as Safety Officer Melvin Gaa. Melvin was a member of the NCCC Emergency Action Team who had helped bring down the 83 surviving SSI employees and about 700 mall personnel and visitors. The mall management expressed its deep sympathy and gratitude to the family of Melvin for his heroism. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Just a few more days left before we usher in the new year. For more stories, please log on to www.pna.gov.ph or visit the PNA page on Facebook and Twitter. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. Wow! Wow! Thank you! Wow, thank you guys, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much to my PNA Newsroom family. It has been a wonderful 3 months, and I enjoy working with you every day, and I hope we have many more years to come together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm William Theo. Good day.